Fashion Dolls. It is Wednesday, September 4th. And today is a very special day. Wishing a very special happy birthday to Queen Beyonce. Today is her birthday. She is one of the greatest entertainers to ever live. The ultimate style icon, the ultimate feminist and activist for women and giving a voice to women. Before we start the show off today, I want you guys to know that the deadline to request an absentee ballot for the 2024 general election for South Carolina is 5 p.m. on October 25th. Now, early voting absentee begins October 21st all the way up until November 2nd. So, if you guys have not registered to vote in this upcoming election, please make sure that you guys are registered. Encourage your family to get registered to vote as well too, because we're seeing what's going on. This is going to be a very tight and close election. There's a lot on the line, and we're going to touch on some of that briefly in today's show with our very special guest to get her thoughts. And she's here. So, hi, brother. Hi, everyone. Hi, Fashion Dolls. If you're just coming in, make sure that you guys are set and ready to go November 5th. There should be no excuses. If you are not registered to vote, make sure you guys are registered to vote in this upcoming election. Again, a lot is at stake. A lot is being taken away, especially if you're a woman. And we're going to dive deeper in that in our girls chat today. So without further ado, Fashion Dolls, let's welcome our very special guest to the dollhouse, the beautiful, the talented Kendra Shanae. And make sure you guys, wow, you show great platform, y'all. Please go and check him out. Hello, beautiful.
Hi.
Welcome to the dollhouse. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing wonderful. It is such a pleasure to have you here.
Yes,
So
yes.
before we kick off this girl talk, how has 2024 been for you so far?
Um, it's been a journey. Not gonna lie, it has been a journey. It has taken me through the test of times, but I'm still here, so I'm just humble.
And it's been a journey for all of us, this cycle. I'll get your thoughts and opinions on that later because I sent you a couple things. So she knows what's up. A lot of women knows what's up in this current state that we're in right now. But before we get to that, we're going to dish on the music. So while we both were in the process getting ready, because we're both women, it takes us a little bit longer to get ready. So
Mm-hmm.
she texted me, she's like, girl, I'm okay, I'm setting up, I'll see you in a few. And I said, I just got through. So she was in the process of getting done, and I was already done. So I mean, we both were doing it, but music.
Yeah.
I was listening to your song Paradise.
Mm-hmm.
Girl, when I tell you, your voice sounds like cognac on a warm summer day on that song. It's so relaxing.
Thank you.
Yes. Uh, yeah. But like I was saying, I'm sorry, that's mom. But that song, your voice is so rich. Your tone, everything on that song. And then I went on to listen to more of your music. And it's very soulful. And you have your own sound.
Mm-hmm.
So I like to start with my guests from the beginning to their journey all the way up until now. So growing up for you, who were some of your musical influences?
For sure. This woman is still an influence of mine, even though she has passed away a couple years ago. And she got me started into music. Is the late great Miss Whitney Houston?
My girl.
Yeah.
My girl.
um, I did not discover her until I was like 8. So I was just a kid, and I heard um, "How Will I Know" and on the radio, and I was like, "Who is this woman?" And then I heard her again, but this time it was on the Bodyguard, and that's when we had like the VHS back in the '90s, so it wasn't the DVDs and everything and streaming. And I was like, who is this woman? I didn't know it was the person that starred in the movie. I didn't know what she looked like. until my mother pointed her out. And she's like, that's Whitney Houston. And I was like, shut up. And then I saw the music video. And then from that point on, I just fell in love with her. So, but there are other influences like I'm in love with Sade. She's one of my music influences. Billie Holiday, Jill Scott, Brandy. I mean, the list goes on and on, but it really started with Whitney Houston.
She's one of the greatest voices of all time. And you come
Yes.
from Indianapolis.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of great musicians that come from that city, from that country. She was from Newark, New Jersey. And you
Yeah.
said, How Will I Know? When I think of that song, I can't help to think about that performance where I think it was the American Music Awards, one of those shows. And there were malfunctions on the stage while she was actually performing. And
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you remember
I
it. She
do.
had the big curly hair. The, I mean, makeup up to here, bone structure, walked
Yeah.
out like a supermodel. And she
Yeah.
actually modeled
Mm-hmm.
and
She did.
killed the entire performance in front of a live audience because I remember Diana Ross introducing her
Mm-hmm.
as one of the next artists in the upcoming music scene. I
Yeah.
remember that. And I was breathtaking by her beauty and just how she captivated that audience.
Yes, she
She
did.
went on in that performance with all of the technical difficulties and glitches that were happening
Mm-hmm.
on the stage. Her voice filled the entire stadium.
Yeah.
That's how powerful she
She didn't
is.
need a mic. I mean, she didn't need any auto tunes or, she didn't really need any glitz and glam that, we have in the studio today to actually get our voices to mesh or sound, you know, however we want it to sound. But back in the day, you really didn't hear a voice like hers
Uh,
at all. And it, like I said, it wasn't no auto tune. Like she could sing even without a microphone, and it was the powerhouse belting she would do, or the long crescendo she would do, and that was just it for me. So,
and you said Sade. There is a male singer that I have coming on the show, and you guys know him, Phil Loft, sounds just like Sade. And I
really,
call him the male version of her because his voice, Sade has a voice just like yours where it's very warm, very rich, and it just makes you relax.
yeah.
And he did the cover to her song, Is It a Crime? Killed it,
Oh
word for word.
God,
His name is Phil Loft.
Phil
And I
Loft.
think in
Okay,
the LA area, Cali area, he's coming back on my show sometime this month.
nice.
Definitely check him out.
I
So when you
sure
mentioned
will.
Sade, that's the first person who came to my mind. Yeah.
I love Sade so, so, so much. It's oh my gosh, I don't know. It's her voice is like glass,
Mm.
literally. It's like glass, and she doesn't have to do certain riffs and runs to, make it sound a certain way. Anyways, I mean, it's the beat, and then how she can play with it, how she can flow with it, and make it sound like a flute if she wanted to. So I was like, man, I love it. I love it.
And I can tell that some of these women have had an influence on your voice. Like I said, when I listen to your music, your voice is very melodic, it's very rich, it's very warm. And those are some of the compliments and compositions that artists like a Sade, like a Jill Scott, like an Anita Baker had. They all have soft, rich tones. Another one is Regina Bell, and I feel like she's underrated. She doesn't get a whole lot of accolades.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is Shantae Moore. They have very soft, rich tones. Very soft, rich tones. And it
Yeah.
just makes you relax. Like music takes you to a space where you can think of a certain thing or a certain time. You can be in a certain mood. And I know
Mm-hmm.
for me, and I say this all the time, the album that does it for me is the Mary J. Blige My Life album.
Uh,
That is one of the most greatest pieces of work
yeah.
to this date because when Mary sings, it's like Mary is like a modern Nina Simone in a way because when Nina sings, you feel her pain,
Yeah.
you feel her happiness, you feel her joy, you feel all of these different emotions.
Yeah.
And Mary, in a way, is like Nina.
Mhm.
Because Nina, when she sings for the people. She sings what the people are
Yeah.
thinking. And Mary, when you put on her one of her singles,
Mhm.
you could be going through a bad breakup, you could be going through a divorce, you could be going through anything. And it's just
Mhm.
like, girl, I see you. I feel you. You're saying exactly what I'm saying.
Yep.
And Sade just takes you to a place where it's just like, okay, you see all of the chaos in the world. I
Mhm.
just want to sit back
Mhm.
and relax, as well as with
Mhm.
your voice, Kendra. You have an effect and an impact where it's just like, okay, I just want to sit back. I want to
Mhm.
relax. I don't want to
Yeah.
think about all of the chaos and tyranny and disaster that is coming. I just want to be in a space where I can be at
Right.
peace. And your voice does that.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I really do. In the beginning, because I really couldn't find my voice of where I fit in when it came to certain um, genre or category of music, because I'm like, I can't sound like a Jennifer Hudson. I can't sound like an Aretha Franklin or Fantasia or, whoever is this powerhouse that can belt out. I don't, I'm like, and then I would doubt myself. And I was like, I just got to be me. I have to find something that I'm comfortable in a range where I can sing. And once I found it and how it made people feel, and even how it made me feel, I enjoyed it so much. And to hear people say, your voice, it's relaxing, it's soothing. That's what I
Yes.
want to bring back into the music industry, is that soulful beat, that soulful, feeling. Because, I like the music somewhat now today, but I love the 90s R&B or the 80s R&B because it was so calming, and it wasn't a lot of rah rah and
Let me
maybe
smack
doing,
it. Let me flip. Yeah, I'm gonna be
yeah,
politically
yeah,
incorrect. Let me flip it and
yeah,
smack it. And I mean, we'll do
yeah,
that too. 'Cause this is girl
yeah,
talk, and we're
yeah,
gonna be giving our opinions. So,
yeah,
fellas, sorry, but we gonna have to say it. We gonna have to say it in a few.
yeah.
But you were saying,
Yeah, I mean, I that's what I want to bring back into the music industry. Whether I stay independent or go into the majors or whatever it is, that's what I want to bring back into the music. That's my goal. I want to make people feel the music. I want you to feel the words, the lyrics. I'm a storyteller, so I want to tell your story or my story. So
I see my girl, actress Simone Jones. We have a girl talk plan, y'all. So y'all make sure y'all stay tuned. She's gonna be on the panel. And Kendra, we got to get you up on our girl talk panel. It's a mixture
okay.
of Black women, and we're all talking about our experiences from life.
Hmm.
And you would be great. So we're gonna set that up. I'm gonna introduce you to
Yes,
the other ladies.
please.
But let me read some of you guys' comments. My brother K Took says, "I love 80s and 90s R&B music too."
Mhm.
Absolutely. And the 90s, where music back then was, it wasn't so in your face, it was more so like tongue in cheek,
Yeah.
whereas nowadays it's just blatantly out here. So that's what Kendra was saying, which we'll get to in a little bit. And Scooby says Kendra's voice is amazing. Be you, because that's what's going to make you you. And Miro the DJ says there's few people I hear a voice that stops me in my track, and I never forget. Kendra Shanae is one. Been a fan since day one. Facts.
Yeah.
And Brooklyn Daily Dreams says facts. So everyone is agreeing. And K2 says, I'm going to check Kendra's music as soon as possible as this interview is done. Yeah, check her out.
Thank you.
All of this love that you're getting in the comments. Now I'm going to go back for a minute because she touched on it. Um, the state of music.
Mhm.
It is definitely a different state of music now, where it's more so, as far as sexuality and things, is in your face. Whereas back in the day, it would go right over someone's head. It would glaze right over someone's head. And it'd be like, okay, now I'm trying to really read between the lines. You can't really tell, whereas now it's in your
Yeah.
face. So how do you feel about this new movement as women, where women are becoming more and more sexually liberated, shall I say, and more in your face and outspoken?
Mm. Honestly, I I don't really listen to, not to sound like I'm bougie or better, because Trust me,
No.
I'm not. But I don't listen to that certain type of music. Like I like Meg Thee Stallion and I
That's my
like Nicki
girl. I love her.
Minaj, Cardi B. And I I mean I listen to some of their music, but as far as just the music industry with like sexuality and all that, put it like in your face, I'm not with it. That's just not my cup of tea. I guess
Right.
I'm more of a quiet, mellow type of person when it comes to
Yeah.
music.
And the thing,
Yeah.
go ahead. I'm sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's fine. I was gonna say I just wanna, I like to be put at peace because maybe you had a long
Oh
day, maybe you had a bad
yeah.
day. Maybe the kids got on your nerves, maybe your spouse got on your nerves or whoever. And when you come home, you want to put in some type of music that will soothe you, that will calm you down to let you know everything is going to be fine. Let's restart. That's who I am. And when I put on, whether it's a Sade song or it could be Anita Baker, Aretha Franklin, Whitney Houston, or any type of music that is going to calm me down, I put them on as not just my influences, but that's just going to calm me down mentally as well. So
Absolutely.
I'm not really with the, in your face. I mean, cool. I'm, good. You're embracing your sexuality. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with that. But it's just that's not my cup of tea.
But you know who you remind me so much of, and she's sexy in a way, but she always did it with such class. Stephanie Mills. Now,
Ooh,
Stephanie
Stephanie.
Mills has a song, "The Comfort of a Man,"
Mm-hmm.
and we all know what that song. She wants to be held.
Yeah.
That's not too over the top,
Mm-hmm.
but I kind of like it. I like Meg. I like Cardi. I love what these women nowadays are doing because men have for so long been saying how they want to smack it, flip it, and rub it down. And I mean, back
Right.
in the day, that's the thing. But now women are firing back and saying, "Hey, I want to be held. I want to be
Mm-hmm.
loved. I want to be
Yeah.
cuddled with." Your music is the type of music that you would cuddle with someone special to,
Mm-hmm.
that you would sit up and relax. Like I said, your voice is so rich. It's like a warm glass of cognac on a cold day. It's like a warm glass of cognac, and it relaxes you. So, Stephanie Mills, that's who you remind me of a little bit. Is her because she sung about sexuality, but she did it in a way wasn't where it wasn't so in
Mm-hmm.
your face. It was more so about being romanced
Yeah.
and loved.
Yeah.
So yeah, I like that. Janet Jackson is another one. I mean,
Oh
again, it's one
yeah.
of my favorite songs from her. But then she threw us for a loop when she came out with Rope Burn. Y'all know about Rope Burn. Listen to Velvet
Yeah.
Rope. If you
Velvet
haven't
rope.
heard Rope Burn,
Yes.
you need to go and check it out. But Janet has always been one where she's like, let's wait a while.
Mm-hmm.
And okay, again. And then she gave us Rope Burn, as I
Mm-hmm.
said. And then years later, she started coming out with these more and more empowering anthems for the people.
Yeah.
And that's what music is. Like you said in the beginning of our interview, I had to find my own identity, and that's for any
Yeah.
artist. Every artist has to
Yeah.
find a lane of music that works for
Mm-hmm.
them. Another one is Fantasia. Fantasia, and me and a friend of mine, we had a conversation about Fantasia.
Mm-hmm.
We love how she's able to go to gospel music, and she can go right back to R&B. Fantasia has that type of vocal range where it's just like, okay, she's taking you to church here. Leandria Johnson is another one of my favorite singers. If we go into to the gospel side,
Yeah.
love her. I
Mm-hmm.
hate how the church did her
Me
for
too.
wanting to say, okay, we're not gonna do traditional gospel music. We're gonna amp it up and get in. What the way they do it is they try to get young people to come to the
Mm-hmm.
church. Like save your soul, you can still worship the Lord
Mm-hmm. Of
and
course.
praise him and have fun while praising him. It's not gonna be, oh, God called me home. It's a different way. Everybody
Yeah.
has a different way of doing it.
Right.
And today is one of my favorite's birthdays, Beyonce. I want to get your thoughts on this, Kendra, about being an artist that is able to do different ranges of music. When she
Okay.
came out with the Cowboy Carter album,
Mm-hmm.
there was so much backlash surrounding it. Like, okay, part one, it was more so like house EDM or R&B, and then the second part of it was country. They're just like, she giving us a country album, but there have been black women who have been performing in country music
There has.
for years, decades, eons. So how do you feel about artists being able to shift from different genres of music? And how did you feel about her album?
Um, well, with her album, I actually liked it. I'm not even gonna lie, I actually liked it. I was a little hesitant when she announced that she was going to do a country album, because I'm so used to her doing, soul or
Dangerously in
R&B.
Love, and yeah.
Yeah, or just, dancing, but I was a little hesitant when she announced that she was going to do a country album. But then when I listened to it, like lyrically listened to it, I was like, you know what? She's really talented. And like I said, I liked it. I really did. And then for artists that can go from one genre and do another and do another and do another, that shows your true raw talent, because you're not stuck in one box. You're not just R&B. You know, I mean, I'm not just R&B, or they're not just gospel. They can do rock. They can do, you know, classic or opera, or just anything. That's a raw talent. That's a natural talent that you got in your heart, you got in your head, and you just want to just get it out. So I think that's true talent for her, because I don't think a lot of people were expecting her to do a country album. Like for me, I didn't think she would do a country album, but it turned out really, really good. So
And now
that
she,
just shows how talented she really is.
and it wasn't a traditional country music album,
It
y'all. It was
wasn't.
more so like, okay, she put her own twist onto it. And
Yeah.
there's been so many conversations about artists stepping outside of their musical lane or
Hmm.
genre and
Hmm.
giving the audience something a little bit different. And it's just like, even with acting, actors have range. They're so used to actors portraying one specific type of character
Yeah.
that you have to wait a minute. Let me read some of you guys' comments. Y'all coming in so fast. Now's the time. God, knowing how much we love him, isn't defined by the genre of music. We decide to be a vessel. Absolutely. Miro, hashtag trendsetter. She went to her roots. Hard to ignore country. If you from Dallas. Much love, Kendra, and stay stylish, Stevie. Looking forward to your Motown adventure coming up. For the people to discredit the ability that artists have helped save lives with music, R&B, soul. And I'm going to
Hmm.
attest to that. It's a quote that I always say here, and you guys hear me say it all the time here from Nina Simone. The job of the artist is to reflect the times. So when you are out here doing music, you never know what a person could be going through. They,
Hmm.
like I said, for me, the Mary J. Blige My Life album is the soundtrack to my life. If
Yes.
not that one, then the Lauryn Hill, Miseducation of Lauryn Hill.
Yeah.
It's like a lullaby for me.
Yeah.
Me being 30 years old, I wouldn't say a lullaby. A lullaby is for a baby, but I could put that album on in heavy rotation.
Yes.
That's how powerful. She has a song on there called For Zion that she did with Mary J. Blige,
Hmm.
actually. And
Hmm.
it's a beautiful song. So those are two albums. If not that album, then Brandy's Full Moon. You've mentioned Brandy. That Full
Yeah.
Moon album. And I
Her.
was
Oh
pretty
my God.
upset that B7 did not get a Grammy nod. None whatsoever. I was upset. But the Full Moon album by Brandy, the My Life album by Mary,
Mm.
and the Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Those are the three that do it for me.
With one album for sure that I connect with is Brandy's. What is it? It's called Human.
Oh,
I think that's what it's called. And the title, the album Human, is one of the songs. I love that song, and because you can hear her pain in that song. You can hear her, expressing her feelings. And when I first heard the song, it just resonated with me. But her whole album, the Human album, I just fell in love with. It sounded just like me, with my life and with the journey I'm trying to go through. I probably listen to that album probably 5, 6 times in a day. And I won't lie to you, because that
it's
album meant so much to me. I was like, I wish I could reach out to her and let her know, because I know they don't check their DMs, because they have a lot.
they
But
You'd be surprised. SZA was out here actually helping a fan with their homework. So you'd be surprised, girl.
Well, you're right. You're right. I need to do that. I guess I do need to reach out again and see, but and let her know. But that album, I really, really appreciate that she made that album, even though it was a couple years ago that she made it. But I still love it till this day.
Now I'm looking at the comments. You guys are talking about gospel. Yes, God knows. It's like now's the time. Just said in the comments. God knows that we love
Of course.
Him, but people deliver their message to the Lord in
Different
different
way.
ways. It's a girl group that I used to listen to religiously growing up. Trinity 5-7. Y'all remember them? And they got controversy for one of their songs, "My Body,"
Mm-hmm.
which talks about waiting, abstinence, purity, and
Yep.
the message, the way they looked in the video. I thought they looked amazing. They got so much backlash from the church from doing that song. It's called "My Body."
Yep.
And I thought the messaging was on time. Wait to give yourself to someone special, or wait to do this with
Yeah.
someone special. That was their messaging. And they did it in a way where it was like no tongue in cheek,
Mm-hmm.
right straight to the point, but God can save your soul as well too.
Yeah.
So it's just like God doesn't care how you deliver the message to him, as long as you're letting him know that you love him and
Mm-hmm.
you care for him and you care for your neighbor and the next person. You're not judging them. It
It
shouldn't matter. Why
should.
should it matter?
It shouldn't. And then I'm a I'm a pastor's kid, so that's all I know
And
is church.
and a lot of artists grew up, started in the church, started
Yep.
singing in the
In church,
church.
I
Um,
I started singing in church when I was 5. I started um, before my dad became a pastor. I was 5 years old. I started singing at my home church before I went over to my dad. I was 5 years old, and I didn't even know I could sing. That's the thing. Until I got older and I started trying to mature my voice. But I started off in church singing, and that's all I know is gospel, and that's my true testament. And I'm always going to love gospel music, and you're going to hear a little bit of gospel in my songs too, or the way I sing it maybe. But yeah, I started off in church with gospel.
a lot of artists, and I see Scooby mention Monica's. Oh yeah, the After the Storm album. That is one of my favorites too. But
Mm-hmm.
she said when she did that album, see, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
artists, a lot of artists out here start off in the church, and when they create songs, it comes from a place where it's personal. And
Mm-hmm.
she said this one, she said really, she was really going through a storm because the storm was coming down on her.
Mm-hmm.
So they talk about that in gospel as well too. There's a lot of artists that have an impact like that. Tremaine Hawkins is another one.
Mm-hmm.
Yolanda Adams is another one, and I love her. She has a song called "The Battle Is Not Yours,"
Oh,
and I hear it all the time on
all
the
the
radio.
time. Yep.
So everybody, so many covers, everybody's covered that
Mm-hmm.
song, but it's the impact and the messaging that gets to people. Yes, "My Body," "Call His Name," to Trinity 5-7. I thought that they were hip when they did it. When they first came out on the scene, it was controversial, like I said, because a lot of people from the church were upset about it. And I'm just like,
They
well,
were.
if you're talking about the Lord
Mm.
and waiting and saving yourself for someone special, what's wrong with that?
I didn't see nothing wrong with the message. I didn't see nothing wrong with the delivery. I mean, if that's, that's what we're supposed to be doing at least.
Right.
But I think, I don't know, maybe they probably consider it R&B, maybe. I don't know. I really
Because
don't know.
yeah, it did sound like it was an R&B song, but
Hmm.
that's what that you're trying to. I mean, it's not for everybody's ears. You got to
Right.
think about it though. When you have a young audience that you are trying to win over, that's
Hmm.
just like with my girl Meg Thee Stallion. She performed at one of the campaign events, and they were like, "Oh, she shouldn't have been out there. She was fully dressed
Yeah,
from head to toe.
she
She
was.
shouldn't have
Never
been
suit.
dancing and gyrating like that." Someone said it best. That wasn't for everybody's ears or eyes. Think about it.
Yeah.
Who's trying to draw in? Young voters, young people. Get out and get
Yeah.
encouraged. So, see, it's all about messaging and your strategy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's about your audience who you're trying to pull in, and some music is not everybody's cup of tea. I mean, I'm not going to be naive to it and say everybody's gonna love me and love my music, because that's not true.
Oh, girl,
You know.
please.
Yeah.
You know we love your music. You looking in the audience right now. Everybody loves your music, and it's coming from me, the highest one who has this platform here. I love your music.
Well,
Like I
thank
say, your
you.
voice is so rich. So yes, when you have an impact like that to impact people, I love what Scooby just said, which is just no different than gospel artists working with Wordly. Remember who was it? It was Tasha Cobbs who did the song with Nicki
With Nicki
Minaj.
Minaj, yeah,
She got backlash for that. So
she
I'm just
did.
like,
And I love that song.
you want people to talk about God and how good He is,
Hmm.
but why does it
Who's
matter
delivering?
how what the music sounds like?
Yeah,
As long as you're talking about your love of God and your worship in Christ, you got to do it in a way where it is hip.
yeah. I agree.
You got
I
to do
agree.
it and draw those young churchgoers in, because they gonna be tired. They gonna get tired of having to be like, okay, we like to praise Him. No,
Yeah,
give it to us in a way that's hip.
yeah.
And Trinity 5-7 did it in a way that was hip. Tremaine Hopkins,
Mm-hmm.
C. Winans is another one. She has an
Oh
album
yeah.
called Everlasting Love, and everybody's like, is she going R&B on us?
I mean, I'll
Because if
see.
you listen to it, Well All Right is one of my favorites. Another one she has on that album is called Slippin'. It's
Mm-hmm.
number 6 on that album. And Slippin' is more, so it sounds more like an R&B song,
Uh,
but she's like, no, because she got so much backlash and questions from people back in the day on that particular album.
wow.
And people were just like, is she going in the direction of R&B? That's another good example, Mary Mary. See?
Yeah, yeah. Mary, Mary. Yeah.
So you got to add a little bit of hip hop on a little bit of Jesus in it as well too, is to get your message across to your younger
Yeah.
audience.
Yeah. I agree with that too. I don't think it matters who or who delivers it. I think it's just I don't know. I don't know how to really put it. I guess we got to stop being so judgmental. I think that really is, as Christian folks. I could probably only speak for myself because I'm a carefree person, but I think we got to stop being so judgmental on who delivers this message, because if you have the love of God in your heart, it doesn't matter who raps about it, who sings about it, you know. But I I think we're just a little judgmental on some people, and like, you know, I don't know. I don't really know how else to put it.
And Lee, I'm gonna go back to Leandria Johnson because y'all
Yeah.
gave her so much backlash for incorporating house music into gospel.
Yeah.
Listen, she's not one of the first to do it. Kirk Franklin did it.
Hmm.
I mean, he incorporated hip hop into his sound as well too. A lot of artists
Oh yeah.
are doing it, and you see young people getting up and going to church,
Yeah.
praising God, and doing it in their own way.
And
They're getting involved.
they know his songs like word from word too. So it's, yeah, it's how you do. It's how you get the message across. Is what gets their ear.
Absolutely, and I love what Scooby also just said, which is it's not about the music, because at the end of the day, you will reach someone, God or not. Your music will bless someone and save their life. And I said this not
Well,
too long ago to one of my guests. I said that you don't know what a person could be battling or going with or going through.
yeah,
And at the same time, your music can save someone's life. We've seen stories
yeah.
of people literally waking up out of comas,
Hmm.
listening to the
Yeah.
music and waking up out of comas now.
Wow.
That's how powerful the music is. Sound. People who
Sounds
can't hear, your music will give a person sound where they can actually hear. That's how powerful it is. And I say this all the time. Musicians and artists are like doctors in a way, because
Hmm.
you could be on your worst day,
Yeah.
in your darkest of times, and you put on one
Mm.
song, and that song can save your life.
It
Again, for
could.
me, it was the Mary J. Blige My Life album.
Yeah.
That album, Mary's pain, everything that she's feeling, you feeling angry, you falling out of love, you you angry with your ex-boyfriend, you ready to find a new love, you all of these different experiences, just like, girl, I see you. We see you.
And we hear.
She's singing
Yeah.
what I'm feeling.
Hmm.
And a
Yeah.
A lot of people feel that as well too, about being heartbroken, about being sad,
Mhm.
about being depressed, about finding a new love.
Yeah.
She takes you on a journey, and every
Yeah.
artist takes you on a journey.
Yeah, I I agree. I love when artists takes you on like a journey with their album. You know, it tells a story. It's not just, oh, this song sounds good, I'm gonna put it on the album. This song sounds good. I like the album to make sense and make a storyline. I mean, that's just my preference. Um, but to back to what you said, when you know people hear like they're in a coma or anything like that, and they hear your
Yeah.
music or sound, whatever it is. I remember, long story short, I did like a little show I did in Miami, Indiana, and this one lady, she's deaf, and she does like puppeteer a little
Yeah.
bit, and she's super sweet. And I did a song, an original song I sung and I wrote for my husband. And I sung it in the mic, but then I also sung it off the mic as well. So I could show people that I could belt it. I don't need a mic as well. And she told one of the people that was over in charge of the talent show, she's like, she heard, she can hear me sing, and she said it sounded she said it sounded like some type of bird or something like that, but she said she's never heard like someone sing like that before, literally as she was sitting there, and that just did something to me. I was like, wow, I didn't expect that to happen there, because that wasn't my goal. But that did something to me when I heard that. So I don't know. It just touched my heart when I heard that.
And see, that's the power of your voice. It's the impact that it has on the people as well too. I'm gonna read some of you guys' comments. I feel like music gotta have a meaning, and not just do it because you got to. You gotta reach the listeners. Absolutely.
I agree.
Some people may not like what I do because I produce gospel artists, R&B and pop mostly, but I go to church. So I hate when people judge you for what you sing if it's not bad. This is and yeah, that's the thing. We got to stop passing judgment on these artists because
Mm-hmm.
you never know what the artist could be going through as well
Yeah.
too. And there's so many amazing artists that we've lost. Prince is one of my favorites.
Oh
That's so ironic. I'm wearing purple today, so. But
yeah.
I love Prince.
Yeah.
Prince is one of my favorite artists. Michael Jackson is one of my
Mm-hmm.
favorite artists. Um, Sade, Anita Baker. I love Whitney
Yeah.
Houston. She was one of my favorite artists as well too. And Aretha Franklin, the Queen of Soul. I could
Mm-hmm.
go on and on. They are no longer here with us. Prince,
Mm-hmm.
Michael, Whitney, Aretha. They're no longer here.
Right.
And Nina Simone, she's no longer
Oh
here
yeah.
with us.
Me
Phyllis Hyman is another
too.
one too. And you never know what these artists could be going through behind the scenes. Yes,
Oh,
Marvin Gaye as well too.
Marvin Gaye. Oh
Marvin
my God, I'm
Gaye,
so in
Tina
love with
Marie,
him.
so many, so
I love that
many.
man. Phew.
Man,
Mm-hmm.
it just goes to show you that their music years later, Isaac Hayes is another one. Their music years later
Yeah.
has an impact on people. Because
Yeah.
now the next generation, us, the Gen Zers, the Gen Xers, we are going out here talking about vinyls now. Whereas, as Kendra stated in the beginning of the interview, the 90s is different. Whereas back in the day, you could go and you can order as many cassettes as you wanted to. I still have
Yeah.
my CDs.
Mm-hmm.
I have a stack of them up under my television, from TLC Fan Mail to the In Vogue Born to Sing album, all the way
Yeah.
down to Diana Ross's Eaten Alive. You name it. But my brother in New York, he has a whole room, and I mean this whole entire room, from ceiling to ceiling, is full with
Oh
nothing but music
man.
artists. And I asked, does he have this album? At the time, yeah, it was 2001. I said, you got the new Survivor by Destiny's Child? So I got that one
Okay.
too. I have that album too. Um, but it just goes to show you how far we've come from then to now,
Mm,
where now it's about streaming. It's about how many streams you
mhm.
get. Whereas back then, you could order as many cassettes and CDs for I think $1. And I
Yep.
think it was what, Rough House, brother K2. If you still in here, let me know which company it is. I think it was Rough House, where you flip through a magazine and you can order 5 for $1
Oh,
or as many
yeah.
as you want to, signing
Yeah.
up for a membership.
Yeah.
Now we are collecting the vinyl records. We're doing what our parents would have did, because I
Mhm.
remember the first record that I seen that my dad had was Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes. And we were told not to touch those vinyls.
You better not
y'all
touch
watched
them.
everybody y'all watched Everybody Hates Chris when they put that record on the record player when mom and the record was skipping. We knew what was coming if we bothered them records. We were told not to bother them vinyls. So it's so crazy that our parents did it, and now we are the ones that are doing it out here. Columbia Clubhouse, that's it, brother. Yep.
Columbia.
And you can get as many cassettes as you want, CDs as you want. Now it's about streams. It's about downloads.
Mm-hmm.
What is it? And there's so many outlets from Spotify to the next one and the next one.
Mm. Yep.
Music and technology has definitely changed
Oh yeah.
nowadays because it's
Oh
so crazy with people remastering tracks.
yeah.
Who was
Yeah.
this that I was listening to not too long ago? I think it was Mariah Carey. I listened to one of her songs and they went in and remastered one of her songs. So we've come a very long way from then to now. Whereas you had the A track, you had the vinyls, but now we're collecting vinyls.
Yes.
So it's completely different.
It is. It is definitely different. I think I remember hearing back in the day you could like go into a record label and just hand out your what record or you can sing and you would have gotten in pretty much. Versus now, it's a certain type of way. It's I think it's about all about who you know too
Oh
as
yeah,
well, and that's I think that's a hard thing for a lot of singers like myself and others that's just starting out because we don't know where to start. We don't know any high end people, so we have to start from literally the bottom. Um, but back in the day, I always think like, man, if I was born back in the day, I probably would have been pretty, pretty nice, But now it's a little tough. It's actually a little tough because there's a lot of great talent out there that are trying to get their music out, but some of them are not being heard because of who they who they may not know, or they may not look a certain way, or their content, or so it's a little it's tough. It's a little tough.
absolutely. Look at all these new artists who are sampling old artists because of the
Yep.
influences. I can
Yeah.
I can count off the back of my hand how many people sampled Michael Jackson's music.
Oh
Prince,
yeah.
well, you ain't
Prince.
getting the Prince. His stuff is locked up in the vault. You ain't getting the Prince's
Yeah.
stuff, baby.
Or you're not
Unless you
getting
go to
Marvin Gaye
Paisley
either,
Park.
because that's not gonna happen.
Mm-mm, absolutely not. But what I will say about Prince is he was genius.
Hmm.
He has music in the vaults we don't even know about.
I know.
And the only way you could go is through Paisley Park Entertainment. If you go through his, because he had a record label, he
Hmm.
didn't believe in really, you know, being signed or being up under the machine. He went out and he started his own. And Shaka Khan was on that label, and he had so many other artists on that label as well too.
Hmm.
So he was very genius about
It
that.
was.
And owning your masters, that is key into
Yeah,
music
yeah.
as well. So who
Got up in your mouth.
was it? We're hearing a lot of artists from Taylor Swift to Ashanti to all of them
Hmm.
having to go back in the studios and re-record their albums.
Yep.
TLC is another one too.
Yeah. And I think also Kanye West too, who's talk about his masters. I think that was maybe a couple years ago, maybe, but I remember reading about that. So yeah. Yep.
And that town, you said Thriller. Thriller was one of the greatest masterpieces ever made. I think it was Billboard. Billboard called it one of the greatest albums in history. And
Hmm.
it sold 1 million per week. Wow, that's awesome. Yes. And the vinyls, it's so many versions of it. Like if you go all the way to China, they have a version of it too.
They
So
do.
that's how iconic that album is. That's a
That is.
masterpiece right there. And I had to take my, I'm pretty upset because I had to take my Michael Jackson. I had a big Thriller poster on the back of my door, and I said I was never going to take it down. I still have it,
Okay.
but I got to put it back up.
Okay.
Yes, but that album in itself sold a lot of
It
copies,
did.
just like Whitney Houston. Kendra said in the beginning of the interview, "The Bodyguard."
Mm-hmm.
That soundtrack alone, just from her rendition off of a Dolly Parton song that Dolly did originally,
Yes.
and she went and Whitney bought it on home on
She
that
made
one.
it her own.
And
Pretty. I
she
mean,
was pregnant. Did you guys know that she
she was
was
pregnant
pregnant
at
when
the
she shot the
time.
music video?
Mm-hmm.
That's why she was sitting in the chair the whole time. So all of that to say that was one of her hits, greatest hits in history to
Yeah.
this day. And as many people have tried to cover it, there will never be another Whitney Houston
Oh
to do it the way she did it.
no. No. Mm-mm. No. No matter how you try, you can't mimic or you can't clone. I mean, you just got to be yourself. You got to be authentic. I mean, as much as I would love to sound like her, I can't. I mean, I'm just gonna hurt myself in the end.
I, I must say though, Kendra, that the closest person that I would say that would be close to sounding almost like her and Aretha in a way would be Jennifer Hudson.
Definitely Jennifer Hudson for
Jennifer.
Aretha for sure. And then um, I know one person that is really close, vocal wise, but you don't hear about her is Deborah Cox.
Oh yeah. And what's so crazy is she did the
Uh-huh.
Bodyguard on Broadway.
Hmm. And
Oh, and
she
the way that she
sounds
sounds
this
right.
close, that close to almost to Whitney Houston's vocals. So I'm like, geez, that's huge. That's really huge.
And these artists train and work religiously to get their voice to sound like their own. And it goes back to what we were talking about in the beginning of the interview, which is artists should have their own identity.
Mm-hmm.
Don't sound like the next person or the next
Yeah,
person. But it's sometimes you can't help it. It just happens sometimes, you know.
it does.
But the
Yep,
music is so good. It brings out a feeling. Yes, Fantasia does sound close to Patty. She
she
sure
does.
does.
She does.
Patty sings very high. She's a
And
soprano. She sings very high.
she's like 80 and she can still hit those notes. That's amazing. That is shocking when I see videos of her, recent videos of her singing at these concerts or events or whatever is on television. And this woman can still sound as if she was 20 something years old. That's crazy. I love it, but that is nuts. I just pray I could stay that way when I turn 80.
If not her, then Smokey Robinson. If
Mm-hmm.
not Smokey Robinson, then Diana
Mm-hmm.
Ross. And they're still alive and living. Gladys Knight is still alive
Gladys
and living. So we
Knight.
have a couple of music icons that are still
Mm-hmm.
here. Morris Day in the Time, if you like funk or R&B like I do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and they're still giving you, producing you
They are.
music. So these legends are alive and
Yeah.
living and giving you the music. And you said Patti LaBelle, she just performed at the DNC not too long
Mm-hmm.
ago. And she performed "You Are My Friend,"
Yeah.
and then Sylvester went and performed it. Sylvester, for someone being a male to sing that high,
That's incredible. That's incredible. You have to just master that. Seriously, you got to
and
just
that comes from
continue to sing.
training.
Yeah. Oh man. Whew. And it
These are
takes.
some of the
Yeah,
greats.
it takes a lot. It takes a lot. But I mean, if you want to leave a legacy, that's all it is. If that's your
And that's
legacy.
another. Nowadays, our top chart topping artists like a Nicki, like a Drake, like a Kendrick, like a J. Cole, etc. How Drake has the most number one songs of our generation is crazy. Yeah, and it's gonna be so many new, it's like Kendrick said, there's so many new up and coming artists on the scene right now.
It is.
And we're seeing them on the rise, creating their own lane,
Mm-hmm.
creating their own sound. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you see them do covers of artists like Mark Angel, who is one of my favorites. And I just interviewed him not too long ago. I think I want to say the previous month before.
Mm-hmm.
And he sounds just like Michael Jackson. So during our interview that we did, he did one of I Can't Help It, which is from the Off the Wall album.
Uh-huh.
And that's one of my favorites of Michael as well too, because Michael was becoming a man. He was developing his
He
own
was.
sound,
Yep.
leaving the Jackson Five and coming into his own and finding his own sound. It's very grown up. So he did just a snippet, just a piece. I said, Mark, you got to do a cover of this song. He sounds just like Michael, laughs just like Michael, and there have been a very stark comparison of him and Michael Jackson. So shout outs to Mark Angel.
Yes,
I
Mark.
still want him to do that cover if I can't help it. I mean, and he did it during our interview, and I was just like, yes, yes. Oh, it goes to show you that artists create their own identity, but they can't help it if they sound like the next artist and the next artist and the next artist.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They can't. I mean, like you said, it's not on purpose. And I'm not, like I said, I'm not trying to sound like the next um Sade. I'm not trying to sound like the next Anita Baker, or you know the next Lauryn Hill, or whoever it is. I mean, that's just my identity. That's where my voice came to, where I'm comfortable, where I can range to. And I'm not trying to copy or mimic anybody, because like I said, that's their legacy. I had to leave my own legacy.
So before we close out our girl talk, y'all, because I told Kendra, she said, girl, how long is this interview going to be? Sometimes we tend to go over because the conversation is
Fine.
so good, but
Fine.
we are talking music. And music has an impact, and we need it in these times right now. And speaking of icons, I forgot about Stevie Wonder. Stevie Wonder just put out a new single.
Oh
So
yeah.
it just goes to show you that these icons that are still here, we give them their flowers while they are still here. That includes Stevie Wonder, Diana Ross.
Yes.
Diana Ross is still touring.
He
Patti
is.
LaBelle is still touring.
Yes, he is.
At
I
80
love
years
it.
old, as Kim
I
just
love it.
said, 80 years old, and this woman is still touring. Doesn't look a day over 80. Still touring out here, still giving people what they want.
Yeah.
And that's because she said music is close to my heart.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember her saying that in the interview. She said, this is what I love to do.
Yeah.
And when you love to do something, when you love music, you follow that passion and you keep performing
Yeah.
and giving people these amazing shows.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. I love seeing the old school R&B singers still perform to this day, because that actually gives you influence. That gives you inspiration to not stop. I mean, it's hard work, yes, but don't stop. I mean, if you are determined to live out your dream and you are a true singer, and you want, like I keep saying, using the word legacy, because that's what you want to leave when you leave this earth. You want people to remember your music, how you sound, how you made them feel when they put on a record. You know, I mean, that's just, I just love seeing them on the stage. So I'm like, man, it just amazes me. And they're not in the walker, they're not in the home, or, you
Mm-mm.
know, they just look, they still look good and sound good too.
Power of the gift. When God has given you a gift to sing and the gift of music, you go
Mm-hmm.
out here and you share that gift with the world. And it
Yeah.
can impact so many people who want to sing, who want to songwrite, who
Yeah.
want to produce music. Now, I love what Scooby says. Kendra, have your own sound because you are going to reach so many people in so many ways, and you definitely have a unique sound, and I love it.
Thank you. Thank you so much. He's a, and
That's the impact.
I've real quick, a little sidebar, but he has an album. Scooby Austin has an album coming out October 4th, and I am featured on that album. Um, it's called Perfect Key. I did a little preview on my page so I can give you guys a little taste of what it will sound like. But I will be going in the studio to record that professionally to make it sound more crisp and cleaner. So he's an excellent music producer. He got some great beats. So shout out to you, Scooby. And he's really encouraging, a really sweet person. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And thank you all for tuning into this conversation on music. We needed to talk about something that was healing in these dark times.
Yes.
And the song that Stevie Wonder gave us just recently is about unity and uniting together. And if we can all unite under whether it may be food, whether it may
Mhm.
be music, because I know music does something to us as well
Yeah.
too. It brings us all in. We're all tapped in because we all love something that gives us an escape. And when
Yeah.
I created my platform, yeah, I cover fashion, I cover politics, I cover what's going on in the entertainment industry with my
Uh-huh.
guests, but I want people to have an escape away from the real world.
Yeah.
For a minute, just take 5 or 10 or 15, as much time as you need, and
Yeah.
take that time to reflect on the good sound of music. Because music is dear to my heart. I've sat with so many musical guests here on this platform,
Yeah.
and I'm honored to be able to listen to the sound. Because, like you said, some people don't have that sound,
Hmm.
but that music, when you put on that music or you sing something to them,
Yeah.
God works it out in miraculous
He
ways to the
does.
point where they can actually hear you. So that's just how powerful music is.
Very.
So, yes. Before we close out this amazing conversation, Fashion Dolls, Kendra, what is some advice that you would give to the next Kendra Shanae or the next Beyonce, the next Sade? Each girl is going to have their own identity. What advice would you give to the next generation of these singers that are coming up? Because there's so many.
Oh, there's so many. My advice would definitely be not to not don't give in. Don't give in. Please don't give in. I know it sounds it's easier said than done. Trust me. There has been times I wanted to just be like, you know what? I'm not getting enough recognition. I'm not getting enough followers. And I feel like, I should have got this and that. But, I'm just now starting out. But there are times I wanted to quit and be like, I'm just going to hold my talent in and not share it to anybody. I do not recommend for anybody to do that, whether it's singing, playing piano, rapping, acting, anything like that. Please don't give in because you could touch somebody in some type of way that you didn't even think possible. And I thought the same thing. I didn't think my voice would touch someone because I held my talent in for so long. So with that being said, stay in it. You got it. Pray on it. Trust in the Lord and just be you. Be authentic. Don't let anyone tell you you got to be a certain way. You got to look a certain way. You got to dress a certain way. You got to be built a certain way. Because that's how I thought before I started doing my singing. I thought I didn't have the face or the body for it. But then I
Girl,
was
you're
like,
beautiful.
thank you. But I was like, you know what? Screw y'all. If you don't like my face, if you don't like my body, whatever, you don't even gotta like my voice, but I'm going to do this because I don't believe God gave me this talent to just hold in. And it goes for the person out there that has that talent as well. Like it could be anything. So just don't give in. Don't let the don't let the peer pressure, don't let the Instagram models, fool you or anything like that. Yeah, they're beautiful, but being authentically you is even more beautiful. That's all I gotta say.
Absolutely. And to everybody out there, we touched on having your own identity. So today's quote is from the late Maya Angelou. And she says this: we should all know that diversity makes for a rich tapestry. And we must understand that the threads of the tapestry are equal in value no matter what their color.
Mm-hmm.
We are all unique in our own way. We all have different sound, different taste in fashion. We
Mm-hmm.
have different everything. We come from, this is what makes the world so beautiful as artists and as creators,
Yeah.
is that everyone is in their own lane. I'm not going to be like my brother K Tooks. K Tooks is not going to be like a Style by Stevie. Style by Stevie's myself is not going to be like a Tony. And I love them all. We all have our own
Yeah.
identity and the way we do interviews and things. The thing is, when it comes to music and style, find your own identity. And I preach that a lot on this platform. You guys have heard me say that. But be original and be you.
Mm-hmm.
And what my formula might not be for the next person, and the next person's formula might not be for me.
Mhm.
I'll use this analogy. I like sweet potato pie. The next person might not like sweet potato pie,
Yeah,
but you can't make that person eat it. They like what they
you're right.
like. So have your own sound, have your own identity.
Yeah.
And that's what sets you aside from other creators, other musicians. In this industry, we must create
Mhm.
diversity and individuality. And everybody must develop their own style. And it's okay to be compared to other people. I've been compared to my brother K Tooks. My brother K Tooks has been compared to my platform with the way we do things. And we'll laugh at it. We'll talk on the phone. He literally would call me and we will laugh at it because it's crazy, but we love each
Yeah.
other and there's no competition. And in being an artist, you're going to be compared to other people, and you take that as a form of honor. You take
Yeah.
that as a badge of honor, like, hey,
Mhm.
it's an honor to be compared to the next person and the next person. And I've been compared to other hosts as well too of the platform. It's like, wait, I'm Style by Stevie, I miss Style by Stevie, so I try to create my own lane, my own arena.
Yeah.
So be original, and that ties into what my girl Kendra here just said. And Kendra, let everyone know where they can follow you, girl, and check out your music. Because I love you, and we're going to have you back on. We're going to set up this girl talk, and I'm going to introduce you to the other
Yeah.
ladies as well.
Yes. So you can find me on all platforms. My music on Spotify, Kendra Shanae, as well as Apple Music, YouTube Music. I think what Pandora, iHeart, all the streaming platforms is going to be Kendra Shanae. It's two separate names. Instagram, my Instagram is Kendra Shanae Music, all together, of course. It's where you're going to get any updates of upcoming shows, upcoming music, or just me being silly because I love being goofy. Um, and then a quick little note: I am performing in North Carolina,
Hey,
in Goldsboro, on October 5th. I am performing with a band called Frederick and Ronza. So I am going to be there on October 5th. And it was like, what, 4 weeks away? We'll be performing at the Paramount Theater. I will be leading maybe one or two songs, but I will be singing background as well as lead. Um, and then I got another show coming up here in Indianapolis as well in November. So just follow me on Instagram. I'll keep you posted. I'll let you know what's going on in my life. I don't have an album just yet coming up because I want to take my time with it, and I want you guys to really enjoy this album. I don't want to rush it, so that's why I haven't made an album announcement. But I know it's a lot, but that's all I
you are
got.
good, girl. And as always, Fashion Dolls, thank you all for tuning in. And joining me tomorrow, we have Jeremy Burchell. He's going to be joining me tomorrow. So make sure you guys tune in and stay tuned. And y'all, please go and check her out. Check her music out again. Like, her voice is very rich, her tone is very rich. Y'all, please go and check her out and stay tuned for more announcements. Yes, we're bringing Girl Talk back. And it's going to be coming back in the fall, and Kendra's going to be joining me. So I'm going to introduce her to the other ladies in the group. And my girl Simone came in. Shout outs to her. Y'all please go and check her out. She's an actress. She's out here doing her thing, hosting, acting. She's doing it all. So y'all please go and check her out. I'm maxed out on followers. I see y'all following me for these past few days. Thank you, Scooby, for the follow. I'm gonna give y'all my Facebook. DM me and I'll give you my Facebook and I'll give you the link to the talk show page and you guys can go and check it out. It's there if you're interested. But yes, I'm maxed out. So I see y'all following me and I appreciate it. So y'all DM me if you need my Facebook and I'll give it to you. But I love y'all, and Kendra, it was a pleasure
You
meeting you, girl. I had a great
too.
time.
I enjoyed it.
And
Thank you.
you're so welcome. And I want y'all to be safe. Continue to enjoy music and the sound of music. And again, find your own identity. Find your own
And
sound. Find
vote.
your own
Go
style.
vote. Vote,
Yes.
vote, vote,
What
vote.
she just said.
Please.
Hello? Thank you. Somebody else finally said it. I didn't have to say it, but y'all do it. If you're not registered, get
Gotcha.
registered. I love y'all, and I will see y'all tomorrow. Take care.